Yes, YouTube, what is happening? Welcome back to another video. In my last video, you will have seen me pick up this Mk4 TT 3.2 V6 DSG for just £2,000. I drove it home and surprisingly enough, I enjoyed it a lot. More than I thought I would, to say it's got a 20-year-old DSG gearbox. Now, at the end of that video, I revealed that I'm actually going to be taking the engine out of this car and putting it into a Mk4 Golf R32 shell. Why would I do that? Well, because in the UK, we never actually got the Mk4 Golf R32 in a DSG. Now, I've got a manual and I would like a DSG because I'm about to build a little bit of a daily driver, something to battle through the winter, something to enjoy, something to share with the family as well, this, that and the other. I can get the dogs in, get the kids in, because it's actually going into a 5-door shell, which I will reveal. No, I revealed it in the last video, but I'll show you around it in a second. But anyway, yeah, I'm talking a bit too much. What we're gonna do in this video is take the engine out of this, have a little look around it, make sure it's okay, and then we're going to pull it into the Mk4 R32 and hopefully in this video get it started in its new shell. But first of all, let me show you around the shell that it's going to be going into and talk about that. Let's have a little look. And here it is, isn't it beautiful? Well, it will be anyway. So we've got a genuine Mk4 Golf R32 in 5-door, which isn't a very desirable thing in the Mk4s or in the Mk5s. It's a bit more acceptable in the Mk6s and the Mk7s and even the Mk8s, which only came in a 5-door anyway. But in the Mk4, the 5-door was not desirable at all. So for that reason, they are actually rare. So this is a bit of a rare car. And something else that's quite interesting with this car used to belong to a Red Bull mechanic. I'll put his Instagram up here. I actually bought it as a complete car, but it was battered and I stripped it and used it for parts. The shell was actually meant to get scrapped, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it for some reason. I think it was because it's blue. If it was a silver shell, if it was black, if it was any other undesirable colour, it would have been made into a tin of beans straight away. But I've just left it around in the unit, hovering there, and now I'm deciding to do something with it. The reason it was stripped is because it's a 5-door. It was high mileage. The engine had a few problems. Someone had keyed it. I don't know if you can see that there. And there, and then someone tried to break into it. The wing mirror was hanging off. It was just a bit of a state. It wasn't really worth repairing, basically. I bought it quite cheap. I think around £5,000–6,000 from memory, and it would have needed about £4,000 spent on it to make it look really, really good. It would have needed a full respray, wing mirror replacing, engine sorting out, clutch sorting out. The list was endless. So anyway, it got stripped, and yeah, we're left with this. So in the meantime, it has just been sat in the unit, gathering dust, just been throwing stuff in it, loads of junk. I did keep a few bits in there because I did think maybe one day I'll rebuild it or something like that. So I did keep the aluminium trim. I did keep the 5-door pieces for the door cards because they're really rare as well. Even the door cards are quite hard to get. Rear bumper's been sold, the boot's been sold. So yeah, like I said, I've just been chucking parts in it, not looking after it. Yeah, side skirts sold. They're really rare as well. They're quite hard to get hold of in a 5-door. Engine bay's a bit of a mess. You can see, look, where it's obviously had some sort of coolant leak or overheated or something's gone on anyway. So yeah, best thing for it was for it to be stripped. But now it's going to be getting a new lease of life with this engine. So this is a 3.2 V6, as I mentioned earlier on. Pretty much the same engine. It is pretty much the same engine that came in the Mk4 Golf R32. Different engine code. There are a few things that are different. The rocker cover's different. Fuel lines are different. It's got this little thing on the intake manifold. There's a few bits and bobs that are different, but for the most part, it is the same engine. Forged crank, which came on the Mk4 Golf R32, not on the Mk5. Mk5 came with a cast crank, so when people are forging or big turbo in or anything with these engines, they like to get the Mk4 crank because it's forged. So yeah, we're going to be stripping this down. Now, I know it probably looks like a nice car in this video, but in reality, it has got some rust around it, has got loads of problems, like ABS problems, this, that and the other. It's really, really not worth saving, and that's why it was cheap. So anyway, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to put this car into position, get it up on axle stands and start dismantling it and getting that engine out. But before I do that, I do need to have a little bit of a tidy up, and the plan is to get the TT next to the Mk4, and then I can literally get this on axle stands, get that on axle stands, take the engine out, roll it straight into that one, and boom, job done. Wow, that's the plan anyway. We'll see how well that goes. Let's go. In fact, before we do all that, I don't know if you can see, but it's a nice sunny day outside. It's literally the 11th of November. It's a nice warm day. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not complaining. So anyway, I'm gonna push this shell outside and give this a bit of a jet wash off, because it would be a shame to stick the engine in here while it's looking like this. So yeah, I'm gonna push this outside, give it a quick jet off, and then we'll crack on with the build. Yes, you go. Right, that is the TT up in the air, R32 up in the air, ready to be stripped. So took the wheels off. Luckily, had the locking wheel nut in the boot, and I've noticed underneath here isn't great, by the way. But anyway, drive shaft. Look at the state of that. It's trying. Is that a magnet? No. Yes, it is. Right. So zoom in. So we've got a split boot on that side. That would explain some of the knocking that I had when I bought the car. Disc and pads are not great, but they're usable, I guess. This car actually has got a brake setup on it, but it's from a different car. It's still an R32, but it's from a car that was sat for ages, so I think the brakes are probably seized. But we'll see what are the best condition ones, and then we'll use which one we need to use. Talking about drive shafts, over on this side, it's a little bit worse. You can see the boot. Oh, can you see? Can you see? Sorry, guys. It's from here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. I'd probably say that's a new drive shaft job, maybe, just to be on the safe side. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but it's an old car. What do you expect? £2,000. I'm not really complaining. I do want to keep the cost down on this build though, because it is just a bit of fun. I don't want to take it too serious. It needs a full respray anyway. I have got a few panels to go on the R32 and they're different colours, so it's going to need a full respray, the damage fixing. It's going to need a new suspension at some point. It's going to need discs, it's going to need pads, and now it's going to need drive shafts, annoyingly. I want to try and keep the cost down. The reason I want to keep the cost down is because I've got way too many projects. I've got obviously this R32 now, that R32 there, the twin turbo, the big single turbo, I've got a Club Sport, Golf R, just too many projects, and I don't want to be spending too much money on this. I was literally hoping just to bolt the parts off and bolt them on and just fix them where needed, like service it where it needed servicing, like if it needed new disc and pads, do that. If it needed a CV boot, do that down the line. But anyway, we are where we are. I'm going to strip the front end down now, drop all the rear subframe, the arms, all that good stuff, drop the engine hopefully, and then we'll have a look at the engine and see if it's okay. Let's crack on.
Westion Productions.
I think we're about ready to drop the engine out now. As far as I can see, all the bolts, well, not all the bolts obviously, because the engine mount's on, but all the bits and bobs have been disconnected. Fuel lines off, earths are off, aircon pipes off, coolant lines are off. I've undone the prop shaft, which you can't really see down there. Obviously subframe is off, and look at the state of this drive shaft. Where is it? Where are you? Oh, look at the state of that. So yeah, not ideal. I think I mentioned earlier we're going to need 2 new drive shafts, and I don't think I'll be using these discs and calipers. Looks like it was wasn't even touching there. But anyway, time to drop the engine out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a trolley under the engine, which we're about to see, undo these 2 bolts. In fact, I might even undo these 2 because it's easier. Undo these 3, and then the engine will drop down onto the trolley. So let's crack on with that. And there we have it, engine is out. So yeah, it's out. Now ideally I would like to just roll it into the R32 shell, but I can't. Reasons being is I need to change the shifter cables, well, the whole shifter, which means dropping the prop down and taking the shifter, the actual shifter out of this one, taking it out of that one, putting that one into this one. Also, I've got no need for a clutch pedal anymore, so I'm going to take the clutch pedal and the cable out, which is here. So we're not going to need that anymore. Obviously DSG is not going to need a clutch, well, a manual clutch even. And I'm going to change this as well, because this isn't just a brake reservoir, it's the clutch fluid reservoir as well, and it's got this attached to it. I don't know if you can see, but basically there's a line which I've just showed you. But on the DSG version, that is blanked off, or it's not even blanked off, but it's just, it hasn't been cut. I'm guessing they cut the end of that and then they put the pipe onto it. So I'm going to swap those around. Anything else? Nothing else off this car I don't think that I'm going to need. But yeah, before I do all that, I do want to take the engine outside and jet wash it off. Obviously with that CV boot split, there is grease everywhere. But overall, it's not in that bad of a condition, to be fair. Like, also check this out. Check this out. Look at that. So, in the video where I picked the TT up, you told me it had an aftermarket custom exhaust, which it has, but they've cut the end of the downpipes off and re-welded it, sort of. So that no longer will fit a standard exhaust, so I'm going to have to change the downpipe. So I'm probably just going to get new Miltech downpipes, Miltech cap and a Miltech exhaust probably, just out of ease. So that's going to be a little bit of a delay. But yeah, we are coming along nicely. Engine's out, that's the main thing. I can chuck this outside now. It's a horrible sight. We don't want no TTs in here. We want Mark 4s. We want Mark 4s, not TTs. So yeah, on to the next clip anyway.
Spooksville did it again.
Westion Productions.
Right, so a few weeks have passed now since that last clip and not much has changed really. As you saw in that clip, the DSG shifter is now in the Mk4 Golf R32. I did actually swap over the DSG reservoir, so that's on. Needs bolting up, of course. Need to take the clutch pedal out as well. But yeah, like I said, not really much more has happened. However, I have got some parts here ready to bolt onto the engine. So we've got an R32 loom, because the TT one is slightly different. Nothing that will stop the conversion, but you know, I just thought, you know what, I've got a loom, so why not use it? Just little things like, if you look here where the coil pack loom is on the R32, on the TT, it is, you know what, I forgot, yeah, I took this off as well. You don't need that. It's not an Audi no more. It's not going in an Audi no more. So yeah, I took that off, cleaned it up quite well. Has left a few marks on it though, annoyingly. But I've got another one over there which we'll talk about in a minute. So yeah, the loom here is a little bit different, hasn't got that same bracket, and actually the rocker cover is different as well. Yeah, rocker cover is different, which will stop me being able to fit a engine cover. So I've got a rocker cover there from the Mk4 Golf R32. I'll show you here actually on this car. So as you can see, the R32's got an engine cover. On the TT they haven't, and you're not able to fit one due to the rocker cover being slightly different. So if you pay attention to this one and how that one is with this little bit here and even this bit here blanked off, and if we go over to the TT one, you can see this bit isn't blanked off, goes off to here, this section is different, this section is different, and if you try and put an engine cover on a TT R32, it will not line up properly. So as you can see, the oil cap is more over there, and then obviously you've got all that stuff there. So yeah, I've gone and got a R32 inlet manifold. A little bit annoyed actually, because this one, whoever removed it or tried to remove it, obviously there was a broken bolt and they've just hacked at this bit here, cutting it off. So I'm not too sure if I'm going to actually use that, or I might use that in the meantime, like use it for now and then send this one off to get painted, because those marks are quite annoying. So maybe I'll do that, I don't know. But yeah, there's loads of little differences. Even the fuel rail, not the fuel rail, the fuel lines. Let's move that. Fuel lines are in a different place. Like if you look here, they go atop and above, and on the Mk4 R32 they go on the side. If we go over here, they run along the side, again allowing you to fit that what we're calling it, engine cover. So loads of little differences that people may or may not notice, and the reason for the engine loom being swapped is because of this T14 plug. So on the Mk4 R32 the pins are just a little bit different, and also the length of this section, which runs up to the ECU, up and around here on the TT, it is much longer because the ECU is in a different place. So probably can't tell, but you could work it out from that bit of foam there. So look at the foam here, then there's loads of wire, and then if you go over to here, look where that foam is, and then there's a short length of wire. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get all that stuff fitted to this engine. Well, first of all, I'm going to take all the stuff off this engine, fit it to that engine. I've also gone and got a downpipe and a cat as well, OEM cat, to fit, because if you remember in the other clip, someone has bodged this downpipe. Now I was going to fit a Miltech one, and I may still do that, but it depends if these bolts come off. If these bolts come off okay, I'm just going to use that. If they don't, then I'm going to take the downpipe and the manifolds off and replace them with some Miltech ones that I've got. So I'm going to crack on with that. Once that's done, I can't see any reason why we can't get this engine in the bay and out of the way. Another thing that I noticed as well, annoyingly, this, if we look down there, you probably can't even see it, but there's like a joint there, like a bit of a dry shaft, and that has all split. So I'm going to pull this whole prop off and swap it out for the TT one, because luckily they are the same. So I'm going to crack on with that. I know this video is going to be long, so I'm going to keep it as short and sweet as possible.
Westy, is that you? Yeah.
Right, so a few hours later, progress has been made. A bit of rust in my eyes, but I will survive. Yeah, let's have a little look at what I've been doing. So I managed to get the engine loom off. This is all the old parts. I even managed to get the downpipe off without snapping any bolts. Now that's probably the first time I've ever done that. So it's either I've been off before or I'm just very, very lucky. So that is good and bad. It's good because they didn't snap, and it's bad because that means I'm not going to be upgrading the manifold and downpipes to Miltech ones, but it saves me some money anyway. The old inlet manifold is off, the wiring loom is off, old rocker cover is off, which I can show you a little bit better now, the comparison. So this is the Mark 4 Golf R32 one, and that is the one found on the TT, and it's found on the Mark 5 as well. So they are different, like I mentioned earlier on in the video. Now, in an ideal world, I would be sending this off to get powder coated before putting it on, along with some new seals, which go here, O-ring and this, that and the other. So yeah, in an ideal world, all that would be getting changed, but dog hair everywhere. Obviously I'll blur that out. But I wouldn't say I'm in a rush, but I want to get this in and done. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use this inlet manifold for now, the one that I didn't want to use because someone's cut it, and then I'm going to send that one off to get painted, and then I've got a different Mark 4 rocker cover which I will send off to get powder coated along with that other inlet manifold. So for now we're going to use all the old stuff, pull it on, get the wiring on, get that downpipe on with the cats on as well. Also took the prop out, which is why I've got all the rust in my eyes, and as you can see, that CV type boot with all the grease in is a mess, and the TT one is fine. No doubt it's not great because it will be 20 odd years old, but it's a lot better than that one. So I'm going to get that stuck on, get all this stuff put back on, well, not put back on, but put on to this engine, and then I hope we can get the engine in and even, fingers crossed, get a first start. So let's crack on with that.
Westy on Productions.
So it turns out these props are not actually the same. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying. So it looks like the back section on the, which one is it? Is on the R32 is a little bit longer. So look exactly the same, and you get all the way down to there, and that one is a little bit longer. I'd say by about 2 inches or something. Luckily, this section is the same. So all I'm going to do is I'm literally going to unbolt this and then swap them round, or put that one onto this one. So yeah, that's annoying, but you learn something new every day. So that's the engine loom swapped over for the most part. I still need to route this through here, and we can do that in the car though, so it's not really a problem. The main bits are the injector looms and all that stuff are on. Fuel line's been swapped over, so now it runs down the side like it should do. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Rocker cover's been changed over, obviously. All the bits and bobs, there's all the old stuff. Yeah, next I need to pull off the second part of the engine loom from the TT. So there's another bit of the engine loom that runs here to a, well, I'll show you actually, because I've got the Mk4 one here. So this is the Mk4 one, and that runs under your under tray, and that controls things like the throttle body, you got your CAN bus, you got your starter motor, and all that good stuff. And on the TT one, you're gonna have an extra one, of course, because this one is DSG. So you're gonna have an extra one for, where is it? Let me see if I can find it here. Where are you? There it is. So this plug here, you won't find that on a manual. So that is part of the loom I just showed you. Runs all the way up here, all the way to the ECU here, and then that goes off to another section here. So, and also it comes down here and it controls your lambda sensors and stuff that run underneath the car. So I'm going to get all that pulled off, transfer that over to the R32. Again, I think this side's going to be a little bit longer than needed, but it shouldn't be an issue, because if you look there, ECU is quite over to the passenger side, and if you look over here, actually you can't see it, but it sits pretty much bang on in the middle. So it's going to be a little bit longer, but it's not really going to be a problem. So yeah, I'm going to crack on, get that taken off, get that transferred over. Once that's transferred over, I should be able to put the engine in the engine bay and get everything plumbed up for a first start.
Westion Productions.
And that's the loom swapped over. So the second part of the harness is swapped over. The first part is on the engine. The prop has been swapped over. Obviously that one was damaged. What else? I think we're pretty much good to go. Not good to go, but I think I can put the engine in now. I need to bolt the downpipe to it. Be a lot easier to do that while it's out of the car. So I'm going to attach the whole piece to the engine, roll it in as a one piece. I'll swap the lambda sensors over from the TT. One of them's a little bit battered, but hopefully it'll do for now. And what else? Yeah, I think we're good to go. I think we're good to roll it in. In an ideal world, I would have loved to have cleaned the engine down a lot more, but look, it's an old engine, it's an old car, this is a budget build. I'm not trying to go OTT with it. I've got enough projects on the go as it is, and yeah, I don't want to add another expense to the fleet. So yeah, I'm going to put that downpipe on, roll the engine in, get it plumbed up, wired up, and hopefully get that first start. And there we go, the engine is in. Obviously, still loads to do, but at least it's in. Everything else that needs doing, I could work around the engine, hopefully. So everything's just bottled up loosely for now. Still got loads and loads and loads to do. Still need to feed this through the right place. Still need to plug loads of bits and bobs in. There's stuff to do inside the car. We need to find the wiring for the DSG. So the DSG controller is here. So you've got all them wires which are going to be on the inside of the TT, so we need to take those out and put them on the inside of the Mk4 R32. Now, I am going to try and plumb it up and give it a start. I'm not too sure if it will start up without the loom from inside the car on this car, but we're going to try anyway. For me, this is going to have to be tomorrow, but for you, you're going to watch me doing this over the next couple of minutes. So yeah, we'll just skip to that. Right, so believe it or not, 4 months has passed since that footage was filmed. Yes, 4 months. That was filmed back in November and it is now nearly the end of February. I haven't even managed to do anything else to the car. I'm literally needing the space now, so this TT must go. So my mission today is to take that loom off that I was mentioned in the previous clips, transfer it over to there, and then get this TT shell out of the unit because I am starting to struggle for space. So anyway, enough talking because this video's gone on for way too long. Let's crack on. As mentioned, we need to get this grey plug off, which I'm assuming, well, I know for a fact it goes all the way underneath here. So I need to pull all this dash, or underneath the dash, I don't even know if you can see underneath here, but I need to pull all that dash trim off, and I'm assuming it's going to be going to that DSG controller right there. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be seeing any of this, so I'm literally just going to skip to me already taking that loom out. 1, 2, 3, and there it is. There is the culprit, the wire that I have needed to pull out for 4 months. And despite what it looks like, I haven't actually butchered it. A lot of these wires were piggybacked from factory. So yeah, interesting. But that is the loom out. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been down here for hours. Look at the state of this. Yeah, it took me way longer than I thought it would. I ended up ripping the dash out and tracing the wires properly. Some of them went to the fuse box, one even went to the OBD port, one of them went to this wire, we had one going to the plug on the clocks. So yeah, so it's quite late now. It is 9:15 at night. I'm going to call that a day. I'll be back down first thing in the morning. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave it a few months. I'm going to be back down first thing in the morning. The aim of tomorrow will be to get this TT out of my unit once and for all. I'm going to plumb this wire in somehow. I've also pulled out the DSG steering wheel, which I'm going to need, of course. And with this, I can never remember what these are called, but I know what they're called, but I always forget what they're called. Looks like someone's actually butchered that. Oh no, it's just a bit of dirt. But yeah, we need that because that has got the DSG buttons on it. So yeah, progress is being made. Progress is being made. Right, so we're not too far off from a first start up now, but I just wanted to make a few little notes for anyone that might be doing this conversion in the future. So on the Mk1 Audi TT V6, the battery is located in the boot. So instead of having a battery here, the battery's in the boot, and the wires for the starter motor and the earth run all the way down to the boot. Meaning, so this engine is obviously from a TT, meaning I haven't actually got the correct plugs from here, so I've had to go and get those from a 3.2 Mk4 R32. So there's one battery terminal going directly to the starter. Obviously I will change that up a little bit, put a cover on it so we don't get any water to that or it doesn't touch an earth or anything like that. The other one that we need is the earth, which is here. Again, so for the 3.2, obviously as I said, the battery's in the boot, so the engine needs earthing, which is earth to the chassis, and then from there the battery terminal gets a wire from here as well. And on the TT it uses this one, which unfortunately just is a little bit too short to get to where we need it. And what I don't want to do is put any strain on this, because obviously the engine moves, it might move or break, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is put what's meant to be on there. So this one goes to here, and then that end goes to the gearbox. At the moment, this one goes nowhere. It's meant to go here, but obviously on the TT, and it goes to the gearbox just here. I don't know if you can make it out. So we're going to take that out, swap this for the one I just showed you. Can't find it in a minute. The earth for the gearbox on a Mk4 R32 is actually located here, but it's got a different bolt on this one, and I don't think it's going to make that much difference. So I'm just going to put it through here, put it to here. Another difference worth noting is this MAF. What do we call it? I was going to call it a, I don't know, just call it a MAF tube. What airflow tube, I don't know what it's called. So on the DSG, as I showed you earlier on in the video, the inlet manifold is different, and part of that difference is this. So on the Mk1 TT, this is blanked off. On the Mk4 R32, it's not blanked off, it's here. You've got this little section here with a plug on it. It goes on here like this. So let me just try to show you with one hand, it's a bit difficult. But yeah, so it goes there like that. That fits in there. And then all the original wiring for the Mk4 R32 that I swapped over just all plugs in. Obviously you're meant to have a clip here, I can't remember what them clips are called. And then you've got the MAF sensor here going to the airbox. The reason for this extra little thing here is for this. Ignore that blank. That goes on. This is a notorious bit to break as well. Annoying. The amount of R32s that I've had where this is broken, they've literally just taped it up. Anyway, so breather pipe goes to here. As I showed you on earlier in the video, the rocker cover is different. This isn't here. This is here instead. So it goes here like this. Try not to break it, and then clips onto there. So that's for the breather pipe, and that is part of the Mk4 R32 on the TT. The TT did not get that. So that's one thing that's worth mentioning. We'll put them, oh, another little thing, just for anyone that's interested. So this is a TT airbox, and one popular upgrade for the Mk4 R32 is a DSG snorkel. I'll put a picture up here, and part of that DSG snorkel kit or modification, whatever you want to call it, is enlarging. Where is it? Let me find one second. Right, so this is a Mk4 R32 snorkel, and this is the DSG one. As you can see, this is much bigger, and it's a nice OEM upgrade. Now the TT snorkel itself, this is the Mk4 R32 one, the DSG snorkel itself doesn't fit on the Mk4 R32, it's too short. So you do have to order the larger one from TPS or VW or wherever it is. I'm not too sure if they still sell them. And they actually come off a Mk4 R32 DSG from Germany, because as I mentioned in the video, they did get the DSG Mk4 R32 in Germany, just not in the UK. Limited amount of numbers, hence why I'm going through all this trouble of making one in the UK as OEM as possible. So yeah, just thought I'd let you know, because what a lot of people do is get the Mk4 R32 airbox and they just enlarge in this section, but a lot of people don't know that you can actually just grab one off a TT and it's the exact same. We are ready for that first start up. I've genuinely not tried to start it yet. Hooked up a battery, the battery out of the TT, funny enough. The ECU is in. This is the ECU out of the TT 3.2. The only thing that we haven't done is put a set of clocks in. This car hasn't got any clocks. In fact, I think the clocks out of this car are in the green R32 project. I'm not too sure. But anyway, the IMO's off, so we shouldn't need the clocks. Anyway, we're going to find out. It's in neutral, I'm hoping. Here's what's left of the key. Let's go for that first start up. Can hear some noises, it's doing something. Radio's come on. Throttle body's doing its thing. Let's try. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Loads of life in that battery. Right. So maybe we do need some clocks. Maybe we do need some clocks. I'll have to go and take them out of the green project. Let's try one more time. Okay. Right, I'm gonna go and get some clocks, put them in, and we'll try again. Right, we've got clocks. Let's try that again. Oh, no, same. Ah, interesting. Right, that beeping's annoying, so let's stop that. Right. Yeah, a little bit confused now as to what's going on. Doesn't sound like it was getting fuel, maybe. Let me pop this fuel line off. No, it isn't getting fuel. Let's pop this one off. Right, it's definitely not getting fuel because it wasn't even trying to start, so why wouldn't it get fuel? Fuse, it's quite possible that I've pulled a fuse out in the past. I have got a habit of just nicking fuses out of cars that I just sat around, but I can't see any missing ones there. I'll double check. I'll do a comparison against another car that I've got here. So if you've got no fuel, anything could be as the fuel pump, the fuel relay. Right, back to the drawing board and have a little idea. I've got the earths on, I definitely put them ones on. Put the earths on in here. There's 3 of them. Yeah, that one's on. Right, so what I'll do is I'm going to go over this quickly and we'll be back for another tire. Third time lucky. Right, so it is currently 10 p.m. at night. I've been home, I've had some food, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to come down tomorrow and find out what's going wrong with this. But I just couldn't leave it. I was sat there, I was going through wiring diagrams, I was like, why is this not starting? I just couldn't get around, I couldn't get my head around it anyway. So I've come down to the unit. I've put more fuel in the car, thinking maybe it ain't got no fuel. As you saw, I pulled off the fuel line and there was no fuel in it. I've put fuel in it, pulled the fuel line off, now there's fuel in it. I've checked the wiring, I've pulled a different ECU off, I've got a different wiring loom to match it up against it. I've done all sorts basically, and I thought, you know what, I've checked the fuel pump, we need to check the spark. So I have gone over to the engine to pull a coil pack off, and then yeah, check this out. We ain't got no coil packs, have we? Can you believe it? Yeah, there's no coil packs in the car. Obviously, when I swapped over the inlet manifold and swapped over the loom, I completely forgot to put more coil packs in. I think the old coil packs were done for, so I thought to myself, I'm gonna get some different ones. And yeah, that's probably the problem, no coil packs. So I'm gonna put some coil packs in and then we're gonna go for another start. Let's see what happens. Right, so I've got a set of pretty much brand new coil packs that I've nicked off the Big Turbo R32. So let's get these in. Even if this isn't the issue, it's gonna be an issue somewhere down the line, no doubt. Right, last one. Right, so if it doesn't work now, it's probably because I've messed something up while trying to find out why it wouldn't start. But fingers crossed. Let's go. There we go. Sounding a bit rough. Has got a vat leak, there we go. One of the vat pipes are off, 2 in fact, got one there, one there. There we go. That is running sweet. Oh my God. So there we have it, first start on the Mk4 Golf R32 DSG conversion. I can't believe I missed out the core packs, but hey, it is what it is. Mistakes are made, especially when you're trying to rush and all this, that and the other. But anyway, if you've liked the video, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and catch me on the next one. See you later.